walkgeorgia.org, a free website that provides you with all the resources needed to get your heart rate up and body out in your community. Sign up and receive individual or group fitness tracking, fitness demos by certified trainers, recipes, and a guide to resources in your Georgia County, all in one easy-to-use site. When you move more, you live more. walkgeorgia.org.
Special event going on at the Monroe Airport or this weekend, and it's an event that I'm sure held a lot of times during the summer. So we have a person here that can tell us all about it, and your name is?
Allison Mealy.
And you are?
I am on the board of directors for Extra Special People. We are a Watkinsville-based nonprofit that serves children with developmental disabilities. We provide year-round opportunities for the students to engage in activities such as everything from yoga to swim team to physical activities, art, drama, and then in the summer we run 8 weeks of summer camp, and we provide children with disabilities the opportunity to go to camp. And so the money raised here today at Skydive Monroe will help offset the cost of camp to the families.
Well, good. How many jumpers do you expect?
We have 52 jumpers. Each jumper had to raise a minimum of $600 to jump, and they go up with a professional tandem jumper and they receive a video of the event. So we'll raise about $50,000 today.
So you have one airplane that the jumpers use?
Yes, sir, we do. We have Skydive Monroe is gracious enough to let us use their venue and their plane, and we hire professional tandem jumpers to come up. So we have one plane that circulates loads, and so our first load of jumpers is actually in the air right now.
So you have men and women jumping today.
We have men and women and some of our ESP participants. So we have several young adults with developmental disabilities jumping today.
So it's going to be a real fun day.
It is, and it's also a festival that we run from 10 to 6, and we have food, we have a dunking booth, we have music, DJ, bands, we've got lots of activities. We're going to be doing plane rides for $15. Off the other side of the airfield, so there's lots of things for families to do if they come out.
A lot of activity going on here today.
Yes, sir. All day. We'll be here till 6 o'clock tonight.
And the plane is up now. So
it is up now.
The jumpers are about to jump.
Jumpers are about to be in the air.
Well, as the jumpers jump, we want you to narrate and tell us what happened. Okay. What is happening as they jump from the plane, and by the time they hit the ground, and of course the cameraman will be filming all of this activity.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Okay?
My pleasure.
Thank you.
So we now have our first load of jumpers on behalf of Extra Special People coming on down. Now the gentleman landing there is actually one of the videographers. So the videographers go up with the tandem jumpers. They videotape them getting into the plane. They videotape the journey up in the plane. They jump out first and videotape the tandem jumpers coming out of the plane and their free fall. Their free fall is about 60 seconds. Then they go up under canopy, and the canopy ride down lasts about 4 minutes. So the cameraman came out first, and he's down here waiting. So his jumper is most likely still in the air right there. And so as the jumpers come down and they enjoy the canopy ride, you can see the jumper starting to land. This is probably another cameraman coming in because the cameramen come down first. You can kind of see how they land, and then they get ready to film the landing of the jumper that they're assigned to. And then the jumper who raised the money for Extra Special People receives a video of their jump and of their experience. So that looks like another cameraman. We put up 3 jumpers, so there's 1, 2, 3 cameramen. So the next ones on the ground will be the tandem jumpers, who you can see. There's 1, 2, and 3 coming down in the sky. So that is our plane. Bill Scott is the owner of Skydive Monroe. I'd like to give a shout out to Bill. He's incredibly gracious with his time and facilities here and supports ESP. So now the cameramen on the field are setting up their cameras, and you can see them that they're videotaping. So this is our first tandem jumper coming in here. There it is, our first jumper coming down. See how she pulls up her legs? They teach them to do that. And they land. That's all. Our first jumper of 2015. We'll roll for about 10 hours. We'll have our last jumper come down a little after sunset.
Okay. It's a beautiful sight.
It is.
Beautiful colored chutes they use.
Yes, it is.
Beautiful sight. Those chutes are made to wing type.
Yes.
And they can control the chute.
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes, sir. There's toggles on either side of the chute. So after we pull the chute, the skydiver can actually control the toggles. And here comes our last jumper. This is our first load. Our first official load has successfully come in. This is the 6th year that we've done this event. It's our 6th annual jump fly. It's grown in size every year. Here we have our tandem jumper, Ed Bishop. He is a regular here at Skydive Monroe, and he has been supporting Extra Special People for years. And we have Cindy White, who's an ESP parent and advocate, and this is her very first jump. So what'd you think, Cindy?
It was fabulous. It
Yeah?
was better than I even dreamed it would be. It was great. Not scared at all.
Some things are just worth jumping for, huh?
Absolutely.
What do you think about all this, Ed?
I think it's amazing.
Yeah,
This is why I do it.
That's exactly right. So anyway, successful first load on the ground. So thanks, guys.
Woohoo!
I would like to introduce Suzanne Dooley, and Suzanne is not only an ESP parent, but she chairs this event, the entire thing. So Suzanne,
Wonderful
tell us
day.
what's going on here today.
Oh my gosh, what's not going on here today? We have got over 40 people skydiving. We have got DJs and bands playing all day long, bounce house, horseback riding, airplane rides, food, and more food. So just lots of activities, arts and crafts for the kids. It's just going to be a fabulous day.
Tell us about Matthew and how this came to be for you.
Well, when Matthew was 17 years old, he said all he wanted for his birthday was to go skydiving. So we researched it, and he had to be 18 years old to skydive. So of course, 1 year later, when I thought or prayed that he had forgotten what his wish was, he reminded me he wanted to go skydiving. So he went skydiving for the first time 3 years ago for Extra Special People, and he has been skydiving 9 times since. He has loved it. So that's
And 2 years ago, we did 3 generations of Dooleys. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, we did. Matthew kind of roped his dad and his grandfather into jumping. Neither of them wanted to, but he kind of played them against each other. My husband said he definitely didn't want to do it, but he couldn't let his 80-year-old father and his handicapped son jump without him jumping. So he was really roped into it. But it was a great year that year, having all 3 of them jump.
And how much money do we anticipate raising?
Oh my gosh. We're going to raise $50,000, but it sure would be nice if somebody just handed us an extra 10 on top of that.
All to send kids to camp starting on Monday.
Starting on Monday.
Well, is Coach Dooley and your husband here today?
My husband is here. Coach Dooley is out of town at a wedding.
Oh, is he?
He is. Nick Saban's child is getting married today.
Telling her about, I was here today that he made his first jump, and he jumped double with Bill.
That's right. I think that was about 24 years ago.
Wow.
Or so.
Really?
Yeah.
Now
Yeah,
Matthew
it's been a
is
while.
here.
Matthew is
Matthew
here.
is here. We could interview Matthew. I'm sure he would be up for that.
You better watch out. Matthew's a salesperson, so he might talk you into skydiving today and talk you in as well.
We have a star of the show. This is Mr. Matthew Dooley, and Mr. Matthew Dooley is a skydiver. He started skydiving 3 years ago, and he has been hard-pressed ever since. So Matthew, what made you jump out of an airplane the very first year?
Well, I always wanted to jump out of an airplane, and at the age of 17, I was like, you know what I want to do? I want to go on skydiving. So my parents called a skydiving with, I think it was this place, Skydive Monroe, and they said I have to be 18 in order to do it. So my mom was like, you know, maybe he'll forget about skydiving by the time you turn 18. Well, the second I turned 18, I'm like, Mom, you know what I want to go do? I was like, I want to go skydiving. And it just happened. It was a coincidence that ESP was doing jump fly a week later.
That's right.
So my mom was like, okay, you can do it for ESP. I'm like, Mom, I want to do it now. And it's like, well, you can wait. But I'm so glad I did. ESPN Jumpway is such a great organization, and they need all the help and support they can. So.
That's right. And we understand you convinced your grandfather, Vince Dooley, to jump. How did you manage that?
Well, I played, it was kind of funny because I played my dad and my grandfather against each other. So I was like, I said, Dad, will you go skydiving with me? He's like, only if your grandfather goes with us. So immediately I called my grandfather. I said, my dad, I want you to skydive. And he said, I don't only skydive if your dad does. I was like, perfect.
So you tricked your father and your grandfather into jumping with you.
Exactly.
So we had 3 generations of Dooleys jumping out of an airplane to raise money for extra special people. That's pretty fantastic.
Well, how many jumps has Matthew made?
I've made 9 jumps.
9
jumps.
Really?
And what do you like about skydiving, Matthew?
The free fall.
Free fall?
Because you're falling at a rate of, 180 miles an hour.
Yep.
I just think that's a great feeling to have. Mm-hmm. The first time I did it, I felt like my disability melted away.
That's right. 180 miles an hour will make lots of things melt away, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you, Matthew. Anything else you want to say to these great people listening?
Just support ESP to the fullest.
That's right.
Matthew, may I ask you one question? How does it feel when you first jump out the airplane and you start descending?
It just feels like you're floating in the air. You really don't have the sensation of falling. You just feel like you're just floating in the air.
It's a free fall. Well, thank you, Matthew, for your time. You're a hero.
Good morning. Thank you for watching. I'm Dina Huff, Executive Director for the Partnership for Families, Children, and Youth. And today I have some very special guests with me. I have Mr. Niles Davis and his son Caleb Davis has joined us this morning. And I'm going to let Niles tell you a little bit about what they have going on in Walton County. Let's just get started, Niles, by telling us how you all got started, and then we'll go into the event.
Definitely. Well, we're part of a ministry called Elijah's Altar Ministries, based out of Loganville, and we really started about 2.5 years ago, really just praying in my in-laws' basement, just a small group of us, about 8 to 10 of us, really just praying for the Lord's will and what He would have us do in this area. We really just wanted to be in the center of His will and wanted to make sure that everything that we were doing was by His call. From there, my father-in-law, James White, had a warehouse built and thought that, it was originally going to be a place of work, but we really just felt like it needed to be a place of worship, needed to be a place that we would come together with other believers from different ethnicities, different backgrounds, things of that nature, different age groups. And so we started praying there, and God has really just exploded in people's lives, and lives have been changed. We've met different people from Monroe, Social Circle, Loganville, really all around that area. And we had the opportunity to meet a guy by the name of Jason Armstrong up in Cleveland, Tennessee, and become pretty good friends with him. We spoke probably earlier this year about the dates of June 11th through the 15th for a revival service. And we're originally planning on having it at our home base, but we just feel that the expectancy of different believers from all over the place, both in the surrounding areas and counties, but then also outside of the state. We know people are coming in and are going to join in for the revival services that we have coming, that we're speaking about today.
Wow. Well, tell us, who are you trying to bring into these groups? Anybody, young people, old people, middle age? Who do you expect to attend?
We really expect and are welcoming anyone and everyone. We want to make sure that everybody realizes that we're a ministry of, my son Caleb all the way up to, 70s and 80s. We don't want to leave anybody out, and we really feel like God has a special plan for all age groups right now. Like I said, we feel like we're bridging the gap between racial groups, ethnic groups, denominations, just bringing everybody together and letting them know that God has a special plan for each one of them.
And such a perfect time for this to happen. We really need to come together. Tell us a little more about the event June 11th through the 15th
Yes,
that
ma'am.
you all are hosting.
Well, we're basically, like I said, we're expecting quite a bit of people. So we got a big white tent where we're gonna put it out on 81, 81 South, right down the street from Maxi Price, and we're going to have Eddie James lead on. He's going to be leading on the 14th of June, the Sunday night at 6 o'clock, and then we have Jason Armstrong, Ricky Scaparo, a couple ministers from Cleveland, Tennessee that are coming in to speak a couple of those days. Denver Thompson, who's actually a minister from England, is going to be coming in as well. So there's the international connection, which is, I think, pretty cool.
That's great, yeah.
And then finally, Kevin Siegel from North Carolina is going to be coming in and speaking as well. And then I have the opportunity to speak as well. I'm really just going to be proclaiming our vision and just really sharing with the community what we're here for and what we believe God has called us to do.
Okay, great. And you mentioned your in-laws. I'm sure people may know them in the community, and they tell us a little bit about what they do, their business.
Right. Well, James and Glenda White are my in-laws, and
Yeah.
very, very special and dear to my heart. I mean, they've really been just mentors in so many different ways. But they build swimming pools. They're based right here in they're based right in Walton County in Loganville, and they really service pools all throughout. James builds phenomenal pools in the Atlanta area, even outside of the area. He's even recently built baptismals, which is
Wow.
kind of cool because God's really kind of broadening the horizons
Right.
in that way. But
Right.
excellent company. He's really the slogan is guided by ethics and driven by quality, and it very much is that. He's definitely taught us quite a bit about that. So he stands by his word and his product.
Absolutely. I know we have filmed out there several years ago
Okay.
to do child safety in the water.
Right.
Beautiful, beautiful place. And just a little history about your wife and
Right.
the family. Both the white girls were in our youth advisory board. So it is a small world.
It is.
And that makes me feel very old because they were very young. And now your wife has 3 children. So
Right.
I'm so excited to have you both here.
Thank you.
And I look forward to this event, and I hope that you all will come out. And the location is in Loganville, behind Maxi Price on Highway 81 South. And as Niall said, look for the big white tent, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
And Thursday through Friday, Friday, and Monday, at 7 o'clock, and Saturday and Sunday at 6 o'clock.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anything you'd like to add about the event?
Well, we really, just to mimic what you said, we really believe it's going to be a special time. It's going to be something that is going to set a precedence in our community. So we just invite everybody to come out and join us.
Okay. All right. Would you like to add anything, Caleb? Caleb has been distributing the flyers, so he's been a big help to that. So, as Niall said, Caleb's age 4 on up. So we would love to see you all come out and support this ministry. And I really do appreciate you guys being my guest this morning.
Well, it's our honor. Thank you so much for having us.
All right.
It's been great.
Thank you both. And just to let you all know, we will be meeting in June for the partnership meeting back at Felker Community Center. Our meetings begin at 8 o'clock, and our next meeting is not this coming Tuesday, but the next Tuesday. So I hope to see you all there. And if you ever have any questions for the partnership, please feel free to give me a call here at the partnership. My direct line is 770-207-3175. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Joel Burnside, and I'm the Walton County Ag and Natural Resource Agent for the University of Georgia Extension. I'm here today to talk to you about a few things that are going on during the summer and springtime. It is my busy time of year. Everyone's out in the garden growing things and farming. So I'm out and about and very busy. The first thing I want to convey to you, and what I do to most of the clients, is the number one thing you should be doing now is getting your soil tests. If you're having problems in the garden or with your lawn or shrubs, the first step we need to take is to get a soil test. So you can come into our office. Soil tests are $6. You can get the appropriate soil test bag. We can get a sample and we'll send it off to the lab, and within 5 to 7 days we'll have the results with exactly what's in your soil and what should be applied to the soil to keep it healthy for whatever you may be growing, which could be tomatoes, corn, any type of vegetable, bulbs, annuals, or even your lawn. So Bermuda grass, centipede, zoysia. The second thing I want to talk to you is if you do have a garden, most things are starting to bloom and fruit. It would be a good time to side dress any of your vegetables in your garden with a basic 10-10-10 fertilizer. There are several different types of fertilizers available at Lowe's, Home Depot, and your local lawn and garden stores, and I know it can get confusing with what's there, but I tell people you can't really go wrong with 10-10-10. Just don't over apply. But if you have a garden, now's a good time to side dress with just a basic 10-10-10 fertilizer, and that'll give it the nutrients the plant needs to fruit the vegetables. The second thing I want to talk to you is lawns. It's a good time of year to be scouting your lawns. So when you're mowing and out in your lawns, be looking for any fungus or diseases. I've had several calls in the past 2 weeks, and this is about the time of year that diseases start showing up in Bermuda, zoysia, centipede lawns. So brown patches, stunted growth, anything abnormal that you might see. If you're not sure about, give me a call here at the office. I'll be happy to come out to your house and we'll take a look at it together, and I'll let you know what it is and how to treat it. But now's the time of year that these diseases start showing up because it's starting to get good hot. The temperatures are rising. It's getting humid with the rain and the afternoon thunderstorms, and that creates the perfect environment for fungal and viral diseases in lawns and even in gardens and vegetables. So not only scout your lawn but also your garden, and that's the way to stay on top of these things, because if you don't scout, and most of the time when the problem is very noticeable, then it's almost too late to do much about it. The third thing I wanted to mention is some of the major calls I've been having in the past several weeks has been a huge increase in pine seedling germination in people's lawns and their yards. I've had probably 20 phone calls of people that have a huge number of small pine seedlings coming up in their lawn. And this is unusual. People haven't seen this in quite some time, or some people have even told me they've never seen this. I was curious about it, so I called the University of Georgia, the School of Forestry, and talked to Dr. David Dickens, which is a professor for forestry. He knows all about pine trees, and he told me that every so many years pine trees can have what they call a bumper crop, which just like a pecan tree or a fruit tree that we get fruit from, every so many years they'll have a bumper crop, a really good crop, and pine trees can do the same thing. And so this year the pine trees had a bumper year, and then coming into the spring it was wet with the rain and warm, and so that was the perfect environment for germination. And so people have seen these little pine tree seedlings popping up all over their lawn. Your next question might be how to deal with it. I also asked Dr. David Dickens how should a homeowner or a client deal with this problem. There's not much you can do. There's no surefire way, but the best way is if it's in an area where you don't have prized shrubs, flowers, or lawn, then you can spray the seedlings with a weed killer or Roundup, and that should work effectively. If it is in your lawn and you don't want to kill your grass, the best way to is weed eat or mow them down. And they might Some of them might come back, and it might take a few consecutive mowings to get rid of them, or hand pull them up, but most of the time there's too many in numbers to hand pull, and that would be too much manual labor. So really the best way is to mow the pine seedlings down. And the second biggest call I've gotten is people have been coming into the office with branches off of their pecan trees, and they are these little bumps, galls on the all over the leaves, all over the trees. This is not a disease. It's caused by a small insect, probably most likely like a little aphid insect that gets into the leaves and creates these galls. It will not kill your pecan tree. Number one, it will not kill the tree, but number two, it will reduce the pecan crop. So if it gets too bad, then it will reduce the number of pecans that the tree produces. This one, again, there's not much you can do for this. It's pretty new, and I called UGA, and we're doing research on this. Not much the homeowner can do. If the homeowner wants to, you can buy the insecticides that hook onto an end of a hose, labeled for this. Make sure it's labeled for pecan tree use. But early April or at bud break is the best time to spray as far up into the tree with the insecticide to kill these small bugs, and then that way it'll reduce the galls on the leaves. Other than that, there's nothing you can do. It's really starting to show up this time of year, but it's too late to treat anything, so you just be wasting your money. So those are some of the biggest issues, biggest phone calls I've been having the past couple of weeks. Of course, if there's any questions or any issues you have, give us a call here at the Extension office. Our phone number is 770-267-1324. You can come in, or I can even come out to your place and take a look at whatever problem you might be having. Thank you.
Hi, this is Dr. Rebecca Anderson from Monroe Veterinary Clinic, and I'd like to talk to you briefly about canine parvovirus. This is the time of year where we start to see a lot of cases of dogs with parvo coming into the clinic. Parvovirus is highly contagious amongst unvaccinated dogs, so we most typically see it in young puppies. However, unvaccinated adults can get it as well. The virus causes severe damage to the intestinal tract, basically destroying the lining of the intestine. And this leads to severe vomiting and diarrhea, which can cause the dog to become very dehydrated in a short matter of time. Also, when the intestinal lining becomes destroyed like that, bacteria that are normally present in the intestine can then gain access to the bloodstream where they do not belong. And this causes a secondary condition called sepsis, which is life-threatening. Also, in addition to that, the pet's white blood cell count becomes extremely low, as the virus also destroys the pet's white blood cells. So they then have no defense to protect themselves against the bacteria that are now present in the bloodstream. So as you can see, with all of these things happening at once, the dog can die very quickly without treatment. Treatment typically involves replacing the fluids that the patient is losing through all the vomiting and diarrhea, antibiotics to control the sepsis that is occurring, and of course symptomatic treatment to stop the vomiting and diarrhea. Pets without treatment almost inevitably die. Those that are treated on an outpatient basis have about a 50% chance of survival. Those that do stay in the hospital with us are typically here for anywhere from 3 to 5 days, but there is a high success rate. I would say greater than 90% of them do survive. However, it is several days of intensive care, and cost can be anywhere from $1,000 upwards of $2,000. Vaccinating your pet is far less expensive. We recommend that all puppies have a series of 4 parvo vaccines, starting at around 8 weeks of age and continuing to about 4 months old. They get 1 vaccine every 3 weeks, and we know from many studies that the vaccine is about 100% effective. Vaccinated dogs do not get parvo. As you can see, making the effort to get your puppy vaccinated will go a long way towards keeping them healthy and avoiding the substantial costs that can be incurred when the dog does get parvo. If If you have questions about this, of course, just contact the clinic at any time. Our number is 770-267-3690, and we hope to see you all soon. Thanks.
Hello, I'm Kenny Sargent with Keep Walton Beautiful in the Walton County Recycling Center. I want to thank you all for tuning in today. I had a few different things I wanted to talk about today that are going on here at the Recycling Center. We've been wide open. We're super busy, which is a great thing. A lot of people are coming in doing recycling and you know, some cleaning up. It is that time of year. There is a couple of things that have changed that I wanted to talk about and make sure to remind you all of. With our computer recycling, I did want to remind everyone that is just computer component recycling. So that would mean the flat screen monitors, the towers, the modems, the printers. You can bring speakers from the computer, that type thing. But that doesn't include things like TVs and even the old CRT monitors that would come with the computer. So that is only flat screen monitors. Any other electronics like stereos, VCRs, microwaves, toaster ovens, that type thing, you would need to come across the scale, and that would go back to our trash or metal pad out back. And the scale house operator can direct you to the right place. But those things would need to be disposed of there. They no longer want those things mixed in with our computer recycling, and in fact they're going to start charging us for those things if we can't keep them out. So we need all of the help we can get from the citizens to make that as easy as possible to keep that area clean and the things in there that the company we sell to wants in there. And I also wanted to remind you guys, we've had a few people coming in that are still bringing in their grass clippings and trimmings from their shrubs and things like that. And we just wanted to remind you that those things do need to go to an inert landfill. And I just want to get that message out there so you're not wasting a trip coming down here and then we have to send you somewhere else. You can call us here anytime, 770-267-1421. We have a list of local inert landfills that you can take this stuff to. We'd be happy to give you the number or the address to help you get those to the proper place. But we did want to remind you again so you did not waste that trip. Also, by the time this airs, we will have already wrapped up our document destruction event. And hopefully the next one of these I can give you a full report on how that turned out. We're excited about it, and I should have numbers and how many people participated and more to report on that next time. And I just wanted to remind you guys that we have been doing this every year for quite a few years now, just to keep that in mind and know that around end of May or June we do this every year. In case you missed it this year, it is something that's pretty much become an annual thing for us, and it's a pretty big event. And if you miss it this year, we'd be happy to see you in the future. And I'll close with once again, if you've never been here or don't know much about us, feel free to give us a call with that number I gave you, or just drive out here and see us at 2051 Leroy Anderson Road. We'd love to show you what we do and what we're all about here and all of your different recycling options. There's opportunities to volunteer with Keep Walton Beautiful. We need all the volunteers we can get. We're happy to get some new ideas and opinions, and just come on out and see us if you never have before, and let us show you what we're doing out here. We'd really love to have you. And again, I'll talk to you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in.
Hi, this is Jody Johnson. I'm here to do the recreation report. Today I have Jay Pierce with me that as you know, Jake has done many jobs here at the Recreation Department, but one of his passions is umpiring. And that's something that here at the Recreation Department, a lot of people, including myself, is where they got their start in recreation. And, a lot of high school students or college students, I know myself, all the way through college I was playing baseball, and it was the way that I made my living, was umpiring, because I was a college baseball player, and it was something that I enjoyed doing, and it transitioned into a career for me, into recreation. But Jay, we want to talk about today, one, what type of personality, what type of knowledge, what type of benefits are there for umpiring?
Well, for umpiring at the recreation level, there's a lot of benefits, Jody. One, your personality, you really need to be an easygoing guy, and this vocation doesn't serve well if you're an uptight guy, if you're somebody that is authoritative and overbearing. It really doesn't serve well, because these parents and kids are out here to have a good time, and we find that the best umpires are the ones that can enjoy the game as the parents and kids are enjoying the game. But umpiring at the recreation level has a lot of benefits personally for umpires. It's a good way to stay around the game if you don't have any other connections to it outside in your in your regular job. There is some pay involved, so there is some money that can be made there. And I know, as you know, nobody's going to get rich umpiring recreation baseball, but there is some money to be made there. Generally, the scale is anywhere from $25 to $45 a game at the recreation level. It's usually a few nights a week when we play, and it's at night and then on Saturdays as well. So the flexibility for a person to get into umpiring at the recreation level, there's a lot of flexibility there. So those are a couple of things that just some highlights about the initial qualifications to be a recreation umpire.
And I know a lot of people say, well, I haven't done it before, or maybe I'm getting too old to be able to get behind the plate. I know you have some clinics that you do, if someone is not capable of getting behind the plate, is there still a place for them?
Absolutely. There's a place for everybody in recreation umpiring. We take everybody. And there are some clinics that we do. I have a staff of umpires that umpire high school and college baseball that help me train umpires all over the state. And we come to the local parks and train umpires of all calibers and all talent levels. So there is it's really a vast array of people that come and we train them all. So there's no baseball knowledge or lack thereof that we don't turn anybody away.
And then you see, and I know I've traveled around with a lot of different associations that are out there, but those associations become very fraternal, and a lot of discussions that go on about plays after each and every game, of what experiences they've had. So it's another way of meeting people and having and meeting new friends as well. And again, it's a way of supplementing your income. It may only be a couple $100s a month, but it generally comes out to about $20 an hour based on the game time length that you do. There are a lot of people where this is their full-time job. If you're looking for full-time work and you want to work 7 days a week, generally 8 months out of the year in Georgia, where the weather's pretty nice, there's work for you. And we are talking specifically about baseball right now, but there is associations for every sport that we do, from soccer, football, of course the softball and baseball, and basketball. There are associations and clinics for all the sports that we do. We're constantly turning individuals over, because generally what happens is we do get some older folks that do want to umpire, and that's great, but we generally get a lot of high school seniors, 17, 18, 19-year-olds that come in, they get trained, and then they go off to college.
That's right. That's exactly
and we
right.
fill the void for everyone else,
Right.
It seems like, because we do such a good job of training a lot of our officials, so we're constantly moving folks over. So we are in need of some older guys that will stick around, become mentors. But we do want to keep those constant seniors and those baseball players, those freshmen, sophomores in college that come back. We want to keep those able to come in and able to work. It's a good job for those guys, a good way to make a couple $100 a week for them while they're in school.
That's right. You get out what you put into it. Like any service, I kind of equate working in recreation officiating as a service organization. Yes, you do get paid, but you get out of it what you put into it. And as you mentioned before about the camaraderie and the fraternal aspect of it in baseball umpiring, and that is just another avenue of how people benefit socially from it as well as with money.
Yeah, so we appreciate it. If you'd like to become some type of official, whether it's basketball, football, baseball, softball, soccer, go by the park itself, go by one of our community centers. They can put you in touch with the appropriate person, or you can contact us here at the main administrative office, and we'll get you in touch with the assigner. We do have assigners in each sport that go out and they do the training, they do the billing, and they do all the legwork for us. And then of course we help them recruit officials in each of the sports that we do have. There is a place for advancement. Most people do start in recreation, but tell us about the advancements you can have in officiating.
Absolutely. If an umpire or referee wanted to start in recreation, there's the high school avenue that you could take if you progressed and wanted to advance. And then beyond high school, it's collegiate level baseball and football. For that matter. But there are avenues for advancement, and the assigners and the evaluators that would come watch you and assign you are the ones that would be recommending you and in some instances working with you at the next level. So there are multiple avenues for advancement, in baseball especially, and football.
What financially do we have to, what would they have to put in to be able to start?
Usually the startup cost for baseball umpires, it's kind of a lot. You have to buy your uniforms and your protective gear, but after that, there's really nothing other than just expenses to get to and from the games, which is just gas money and things like that. But that's offset with your pay. But initially, baseball is traditionally the most expensive sport to start officiating, but that is made well within your first season of umpiring. Football is a little bit less of a monetary investment because there's not as much protective gear. But again, those uniforms are paid for well within the first season. So the monetary costs are there a little bit, depending on the range of equipment that you would like, the caliber of equipment that you would like. But we have avenues to get you equipment at a reduced rate, and we have places that we can refer you to kind of help with that for an up-and-coming official.
Yeah, and I do see a lot of guys come in and you've got one going out and one coming in. So
that's right. There's
a lot of bartering going on
with
equipment, so that's usually not a problem, especially at the recreational level. Well, I appreciate. I know you've got probably the most experience of just about anybody, even as a younger person from an umpire standpoint. You probably have more experience than anyone here in Walton County. So we appreciate it. It's great to have your knowledge here to help our folks get better.
I appreciate that.
I know you're still looking to advance even at the professional ranks. So we hope that you have good luck. Have you done a lot of colleges this year?
I did. I had a full schedule at the Division I level this year, and I was February, March, and April and May were very busy for me. I was on the road a lot, but I had a good time, and you meet a lot of great people, and you get to see a lot of places when you choose officiating as your vocation or profession. And I've been fortunate enough to see a lot of great places and meet a lot of very, very interesting people.
What would you say just a couple quick highlights of this year? What were some of the bigger games you had?
Oh, well, I officiated the Georgia Tech game between the University of Georgia and Georgia Tech.
Was that at Turner Field?
I didn't do that one. I officiated the one in Athens and the one in Atlanta. I I got to go to Alabama and umpire over there. I was at Clemson. I worked quite a few Clemson games this year, which is a great tradition program in the Southeast. So I've met a lot of great people, got to see a lot of great college baseball this year.
Well, that's great. And again, you've got a vast knowledge. I know when I get stumped on a rule, and as you know, we all get stumped
Absolutely.
on rules.
I do too.
But it's good to talk about, and it's good to have somebody that can give a different perspective. So I know I call you probably once a week. Hey, what do you have on this?
Yep.
On this particular rule, because anything can happen in these games, especially when you're dealing with the kids.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate you coming in. I do want to mention a few other things that's going on in the recreation world. We've had our registration for our fall sports. We always do that right as the kids are going out of school. It's just easier to get the word out that we do have our programs going on in the fall. So we have had our registration. If you did miss that, go by our office either at the South Walton, the Felker, or the Meridian Community Center and contact those coordinators and see if they can still get you in. There may be a few spots left. It's just kind of a first come first served basis on a waiting list. But we always try to get everyone in if we can. And that's for the football, soccer, cheerleading, and the baseball and softball. So be sure to do that as soon as possible because we're ordering uniforms, having evaluations and drafts. We're doing all that here in a few weeks. Also, All-Star Baseball and Softball they're starting their practices. We are actually hosting the Tri-County Softball Tournament here starting next Saturday. It's a week-long All-Star Tournament that all of Gwinnett County, our Walton County All-Star teams, Barra County, all the teams will corral here in our West Walton office. It's around 75 to 80 softball teams that'll be playing here all week long, so our park will be completely filled up. I know the city of Loganville is very excited about hosting this event, and they're rallying around us and trying to help us out with the accommodating that event. So we look forward to that. Also, if you're wanting to get into some of our passive parks, maybe you have a birthday party or a family reunion, please call our community centers. You can go on our website at waltoncountyga.gov. Call the community centers. Those are booking up extremely fast. Some of the ones that are booking up the fastest are the ones out at Good Hope and Hammond and Coker. Not Coker, out at Matthews Park and Hammond Park. We really are probably the most sought after, and the one out at Good Hope now that it has a restroom. People are really going after that one as well. So call our community centers if you've got something like that. Again, it doesn't cost anything to use those things, but it is $30 to reserve it. So we like to make sure, especially on the weekends, they're always booked on Saturdays and Sundays. So please try to reserve that if you're planning on using it. Again, if you have any other information, give us a call at 770-266-1680. And you can always go to our website. We have a lot of information there at waltoncountyga.gov. Go to departments and then hit recreation. And there's a lot of information on there about our community centers, our walking trails, our outdoor walking paths. So there's a lot of information on that website that you may not know that we even offer. So until next time. And again, thanks a lot, Jay. Good to have you here, and we'll try to catch up soon. So thanks a lot.
I'm Emily Russell, Director of Marketing and Business Development at Clearview Regional Medical Center. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope that you and your family are enjoying these warm temperatures and getting outside, maybe exercising, eating some good fruits and vegetables from the garden, all of those wonderful benefits that come along with summertime. So speaking of summertime, since gardens are in full bloom, harvest has begun, the farmers market in downtown Monroe is up and running. That brings us to fresh fruits and vegetables. And for those of you that may not know, June is actually considered Fresh Fruit and Vegetable Month. So to talk a little bit more about that today, I have two helpers with me, and I'll let them introduce themselves and where they're from.
Hey, I'm Savannah. I'm from Jefferson, Georgia, and just graduated Health Promotions from the University of Georgia.
Hey, I'm Kathy from Augusta, Georgia, and I as well just graduated from the University of Georgia with a Health Promotions degree.
So as part of Health Promotions, a big part would be diet, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so when it comes to diet, we always hear, of course, that fresh is better. You know, fresh should trump all. So talk to me, you guys, a little bit about eating fresh fruits and vegetables. What does that mean?
Well, according to the USDA, it's recommended that half of your entire plate, whenever you do have your meals, half of it should be the fruits and vegetables. So you should really include color and variety, and it should not actually include potatoes, because it's actually it has a negative impact on your blood sugar. And then the other quarter of your plate should include protein with fish, poultry, beans, and nuts, and should kind of limit the bacon, cold cuts, and any preserved with meats. As well as the other quarter should be whole grains, and that includes oats, brown rice, and foods made with them, so like wheat pasta. So you should really include all of those items within your meal. It's recommended, and limit dairy and milk from 1 to 2 servings a day.
So when we're talking about fruits and vegetables taking up, did you say half the plate? Half the plate, and you said use color and variety. So what would be an example of color? What do you mean by that?
You should have a good variety, so like orange for like carrots, and getting certain types of carotenes and vitamins and minerals, whether it be from green beans and squash. Having a good mixture of different colors means you have a good variety of those different types of nutrients and minerals.
So if I'm looking at my garden at home, I might have green peppers, I might have spinach, those are both green, so maybe vary that with a tomato or a carrot or a squash, something like that to get some variety in the color. So what you're actually saying is the color variety dictates nutritional variety.
Right.
Wonderful.
Each different colors have different minerals within them.
Fantastic. That is very good to have. That's definitely something to consider. And actually what Kathy's talking about a little bit is My Plate. And My Plate is kind of a neat way to know and understand the nutritional values that you should be taking in every day. There's lots of resources online about My Plate. We have resources available here at the hospital through our dietitian. If you have any questions, you can let us know on that. But that's great information. Anything else about My Plate that we need to be sure to remember?
You should include natural oils when you do use them. So any like sunflower, try not to use any other ones. More natural is better.
So maybe like a Crisco or cooking in bacon fat or something like that might not be the best choice. So while you might be eating your vegetables, but you're sauteing them in bacon grease, sometimes you kind of have to come up with a little bit of balance there. It's important to get those vegetables. So speaking of those vegetables, is there a better way to prepare them? Should they be fresh? Should they be frozen? Should they be from a can? What are the thoughts on that?
Yeah, so the FDA has actually done studies that show that fresh and frozen vegetables don't have that much difference in their nutritional value. Between producing the commercial produce and then the freezing process, you lose about the same amount. So it kind of equals out in the long run. There have been other studies done that show that canned, dried, frozen, fresh, and 100% fruit juice that has low sugar values are actually about the same in nutrition.
So no matter really how you get your fruit or vegetable, it's just important to get it, I guess.
Yes, and having a variety of those different kinds is important too, because they have a little bit different of the benefits.
Yeah, because I've even heard that if you get canned vegetables, that maybe you should rinse them first to kind of get the extra sodium off of it with the preservatives and whatnot. Maybe that's a healthier alternative to take on. So that's important. That's important to note. So you don't necessarily have to buy fresh produce, which can be expensive at times if you don't have a garden at home. You can also opt for frozen or canned vegetables. But the important part is just to make sure that you get those vegetables. So let's talk a little bit more then about our fruits and vegetables. What are some fruits and vegetables that you would recommend?
Well, right now it's the summertime, so we've got a lot of gardens and the farmers market going on, and some of the fruits and vegetables that are going to be in season right now are artichokes, eggplants. You've got your sweet corn, your summer squash, all kinds of berries, cherries, fruits, melons, peaches are all going to be good and in season for this summer.
Very good. And something that Kathy mentioned earlier, which I thought was very notable, I think a lot of times, even in the South and maybe in other places, we automatically consider a potato as a vegetable. So are you telling me that that's perhaps not exactly what we should classify it as?
We shouldn't classify it as a vegetable just because that doesn't give you much nutrition that you need.
Yeah, it's really just more of a starch, essentially.
Exactly. And some people consider it because it is grown and You just shouldn't. So perhaps eating a hamburger and french fries isn't giving you your protein and your vegetable.
Right.
The french fries don't exactly count as a vegetable. Where they might be a side item, they're not really a vegetable. Very good. Anything else that's noteworthy about fruits and vegetables this month?
Well, it is important to know that in Monroe, from May 16th to October 10th is Farmers Market every Saturday from 8:30 to 12:30. So you can go and support your community and locally grown vegetables and fruits there.
Yeah, that's a great way to not only get those fresh fruits and vegetables, but also to support your local farming economy. You know, if you haven't been out on a Saturday, I definitely encourage you to do so. Everything from local honey to carpenter bee traps to fruits and vegetables and wildflowers and homemade dog treats, all sorts of different things, organic baked goods, gluten-free baked goods, just a variety of things out there, with the premier product being those fresh fruits and veggies. So definitely be sure and check out the Monroe Farmers Market or any other farmers market that might be around. It's just a great way to get that color variety that we were talking about on your plate when you're consuming. So, well, thank you so much for tuning in with us today. We encourage you to eat healthy, to eat right, to eat for a lifestyle that you can actually enjoy. If you ever have any questions about dietary needs or concerns, or perhaps even a dietary consult or dietary consults in regards to diabetes or any sort of illness or difficulty that you may be encountering, please give us a call. We have a physician referral line that we can get you hooked up with a physician or a dietitian, anything like that. In addition to that, we always have our senior events that are going on here at the hospital. We have one coming up here in June for skin cancer awareness. So learning a little bit about how to protect your skin from the sun and from developing skin cancer. So to check out any of these events or to learn about any of our physicians, you can always visit our website at clearviewregionalmedicalcenter.com or call our toll-free physician referral line number at 1-877-933-2762. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Hey, thanks a lot for tuning in today. As usual, we're going to show you some of the dogs and cats that are available for adoption here at the Walton County Animal Control Shelter. You know, a lot of times we get so many pit bulls in through our shelter that someone will come and look, and it seems like every kennel is full of pit bulls. They're really hard to get adopted back out. They're really hard to get into rescue. So maybe you're a pit bull owner already, and that's a great thing. We appreciate you, but we want you to make sure that you have your dog fixed. There's really no need to keep breeding these pit bulls over and over while so many end up being put to sleep in shelters here and across the country. And we want to let you know about Paradox Spay Neuter Clinic. They do have a program called the Fixable Project, and they will do free spays and neuters on your pit bull. So maybe you have a pit bull already and it's not fixed yet, but you want to get that done. We really don't want the puppies to come here in the shelter. So you can contact Paradox Spay Neuter Clinic at 770-972-5067 and ask them about the Fixable Project. This is funded by their vaccine clinics, which we promote also, and it's available to Walton, Rockdale, and Newton County residents. They only have 12 spots per month, so be sure to call and keep calling till you get yours in there. Again, there's just no need for guys like this sweet guy here to sit in the shelter, and sadly enough, most of the time they're not adopted or rescued. So do your part to make sure your pit bull is fixed. And now we'll show you some of the dogs and cats that are here at the shelter.
Here we have a little male Chihuahua. He's about a year or two old, not neutered, really sweet, needs a good home.
And we have several kittens coming in. This is just two of them. They're both males. They're probably about 2 months old, very sweet and playful, needs a home fast.
These are two female hound mix puppies. They're about 3 months old. They're both very sweet, very playful. A little shy though, but they're just ready to go to good homes.
And here we have a Chihuahua mix, female. She's about 4 years old. She's sweet. She's got a deformed leg. It doesn't seem to bother her, but she's looking for a good home.
This is Jinxie. She's probably maybe about a year and a half, 2 years old. a lab mix, very energetic and friendly. She likes to give smiles, but she's friendly. But yep, just ready to go to a good home.